Y'all, thank you for coming, and help me if you don't mind to keep watching for other people who are trying to get admitted. I don't want to miss anybody. Hopefully I'll see them all. I'm going to share my screen because it would be very helpful, I think, for you all to follow along, not just our faces. So welcome. It's really great to see you all here today. And for somebody in the middle of the night, I just wanted to give you a little bit of a summary of what we're going to talk about today. And from there, we'll get started. And when you have a question, at that moment would be a good opportunity to introduce yourself and talk about your connection to English, where you're at, where you're teaching, so that we can all kind of connect as people are asking questions. I think if we just take times for full introductions right now, it would take a long time, and I want to kind of keep moving. So that way we'll connect. Another thing, so we're going to start with how we're going to do and handle today. Then we'll talk about the surveys that you sent, which were so helpful to understand the challenges you have in teaching English, and then what you might want to take intensive English, why that might be helpful for you. And then the two biggest things that I can offer as takeaways for today, no matter whether you can take a class in July or not, but two big takeaways to think about, just even adding to your English teaching repertoire right now. Before we get started too much further, if at any time you have trouble with my accent, or I use an idiom you don't know, or a word you don't know, stop me, put your hand up, or put on the chat that you're confused about something, okay? Because we really want to make sure that it's clear. It looks like everybody has pretty good internet right now, so that's a great place to start. So to start with, if we have quite a few people on here and it's hard to get a question, I don't see you, you want to ask a question, you can put it in the chat. And I'm looking for a volunteer, somebody who might be willing to monitor the chat window, who can tell me, okay, Jackie, tell me what's going on. So if you have a question, put it in the chat. If some of you are probably on your phone, just look for those three dots to find your chat bar and just send us a message if you have a question, okay? So thank you for that. Let's go ahead and talk about the survey results that you all sent. And I don't know if you remember, there are two questions. There was a question about the most challenging aspect of teaching English in Haiti. And then there was a your own personal challenges. This was not as clear when everybody was answering what I would say was the biggest challenge. These were three things that you mentioned that you struggle with. And I would really love some more input if there's anybody else who wants to add to this. Technology. And I can imagine that's the case anywhere in the world, that everybody has different technological problems teaching. Internet is becoming much more common, and it's a tool, but it's not consistent, and not everybody uses it the same. Some people have no internet. Some people don't even have books that are all the same. And so a lot of people just have to put it all on the chalkboard. And so there's all different levels of technological problems. And that is a big one I get. Student motivation. There's an issue where possibly you are the single teacher for somewhere between 15 and 35, maybe even more students in your classroom. And it's really difficult to motivate them individually. That is the exact same problem here. We have that too. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then they wanted to translate back into their own language. It's difficult to get them motivated to really use English. And I think one of the takeaways we talk about today will address that. And then the educational system in Haiti. and I worked for about 6 months in a Haitian school. And so I have a sense of what you're talking about. I think the use of the blackboard, writing on the board, and having your students copy it down, it's one thing I noticed. And I think that that's something that you really want to be aware of. How can you adjust that a little bit when you're teaching a language? Because a language is such an interactive activity. So those were the three big things that I took away from your surveys. Does anybody want to bring up anything else? Okay, I'm going to move on to the personal challenges and what you struggle with, what you think your weaknesses might be in teaching English. And this is real interesting because there's a lot of overlap. A lot of people mentioned the same things. So teaching English writing, and this might go back to the technology problems where if they don't have anything but a notebook and you can't see what they're doing, it's difficult to kind of help them with their writing. And you get it when it's done, so it's hard to give them feedback. So that's complicated. Pronunciation, this is really difficult because you might not be a native speaker of English. Reading comprehension, I understand that too. I would love you to tell me if there's something that I'm missing, but I would imagine this comes from the lack of English books that you have access to. Or if you have internet, then you can find things online. If you don't, you rely on books, and finding English books are difficult. And vocabulary. This is definitely something that we're going to talk about and really address, and what you can do, you personally, using the internet and building your ability to teach vocabulary. So welcome. We've had 3 new people join. Appreciate you guys being here. And one thing I just want to go over again, please use the chat if you have a question and I don't see you because I can't see everybody's face. And when you ask your question, introduce yourself and tell where you're teaching English. So these are some of the things from the survey. But before we go any further, I really would love some input. And if you don't raise your hand, I'm going to start calling on you. Anybody want to talk about and expand a little bit on, I've given you what I think are the reasons you might struggle with English writing, pronunciation, reading comprehension, and vocabulary. But I'd like to hear directly from you. Okay. Donal. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Would you like to maybe address one of those? If you would agree, or a question, or how you would describe what you put down as your weakness and why?
First, I thank you for the course. I think it will be very helpful for us, and I think the survey expressed our weakness in English in Haiti, and the pronunciation. For me, the pronunciation, I think uh, it's more challenging for us because in AD in our system we in our educational system we influenced by different English style like British and American. Some teacher at school they pronounce word like a British, other pronounce like American. That students sometimes they are confused by different kind of pronunciation. Also, we live in a Creole environment, French environment, and at home, students don't watch movie in English, don't listen to music in English that could influence our pronunciation. I think this course will be very important for us, and after we can help students and people in Haiti to improve their English skills. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was really helpful. Does anybody else want to add anything for the weaknesses that this is really helpful as we are forming a class to really know what your struggles are. And I think the pronunciation, what Donnell just described, is common all over the world because English is a global language, but there's so many different accents. And I think it's very important for students to understand a lot of different accents. That's just part of English. And so, yeah, and then you are native Creole French speakers. Consequently, you come with an accent. So that's all very different things that we really will work on. Who else would like to contribute before I call on you? So I'm going to call on Aladino.
Sure. Thank you. Yes. It's kind of weird for me because I would say that I'm still passionate about English teaching. Uh, my current job is not being an English teacher, but even after teaching English for 4 years in a high school in France, being back in France, I have the opportunity to teach English to some, I would say, retired people, those who are trying to, I would say, who go on cruising. Is it clear?
Uh,
Retired people. Mhm.
right. Yes.
Yes, they used to travel before COVID, let's say, and
Hopefully again.
yes, going cruising and all those. And I got all stuff of material just trying to, I would say, help them with a lot of material. Something that I can say, because I would say that sometimes, definitely, I'm considering changing, I would say, going back to teaching because I'm still passionate about it. My approach of English teaching is, I would say, first of all, I have a bilingual approach. Bilingual isn't, I would say, trilingual, but I'm saying by or trilingual, I consider that it is important for my students to understand how, let's say, their own, I would say, native or second language work. I would say I'm definitely focused or have this, I would say, bilingual or contrastive approach. Grammar, I would say, this is very important for me. Vocabulary and all this, just to tell you, just a short experience.
Oh,
After
wait,
graduating,
Aldino, I'm going to hold you right there. I'm going to ask you
sure.
to hold on for a minute
Okay.
and keep it because we are going to talk exactly about that. We're
Mhm,
going to get to a part where we discuss
mhm,
grammar and vocabulary and talking. So hang on to your story.
sure.
I want to keep going a little bit with complications and challenges people are having right now. So I'm still going to ask everybody to participate. Right now, actually going to go into questions, and I'm actually going to try to find out a little bit more about what you're all dealing with in the classroom. So if you can put either in the chat or raise up your hand, or give me I know you can do a thumbs up when I ask these questions. How many people have access to Wi-Fi with the students? So when you're working with them, they have Wi-Fi, you have Wi-Fi. Does anybody have that experience where they have computers? Okay, I see Lorkenzie, and everybody else, if you're not showing me your face, give me a thumbs up, yes or no, if you have access with you, your students in the classroom. So, okay, 2, I see 2. All right. So I'm going to go with 2 for now. In the chat, add yourself if you don't, if I didn't get you. Now, how many people have audio video equipment in their classroom? That means that they can show videos to your students, even if they're not online live, or they can do project things with the kids in school. How many people have access to that? Hello, Kenzie. Again.
Actually, Whitley answered Whitley. That's 2.
Oh, Whitley too. Okay. And
he also answered.
So he's one of the Wi-Fi too. I'll change that.
Yeah.
Now, this one I hope goes way up because I see you all tonight. So that means that I think almost everybody in the group has access to Wi-Fi themselves personally. How many people have daily access to your Wi-Fi? Like you can go and this is, I know that's kind of a crazy question. You think if you have Wi-Fi daily, you probably think, well, of course, but there are places where really it's not easy to connect, like they have to go into a different town to connect. And so I wonder how many people have access to daily Wi-Fi. So give me a thumbs up or actually show us or write in the chat. This is daily Wi-Fi access. Oh man. Okay, you said? I'm guessing most of you do. Am I missing it? Mackenzie, you do. I know you do. You're taking the class. Okay, how about Faro? Welcome. Can you hear us? I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Faro, I have.
Farah?
Hello?
Farah, you're on mute.
Hello?
Hello! Well,
Sorry.
and tell me, is that how you really pronounce your name, Faro, or is there another name?
It's Farah because I'm Asian.
Farah.
Yes.
That was just bad on my part. My question, did you hear my question? I'm asking, do you have access to daily internet?
Yes.
Okay, so what I would like, just as an example, do you know how to use the little thumbs up?
Pardon me?
How to put a thumbs up on your Zoom screen?
Okay.
So I want to know. There you go. All right, Whitley. I thank you. I see it. I'm just trying to find out how many people. Stanley Louis, how about you? You're on mute.
Stanley is actually Olivier.
I just want to know, do you have access to the internet every day?
Pardon?
Do you have access to the internet every day?
No.
No.
Not every day.
Okay.
Sometime.
Okay, that's exactly. So I'm going to put down, I'm just going to say half. That's a guess. Now, I'm guessing, Stanley, you do have access weekly or about that much because you're here with us tonight. Is that true? You're muted.
I'd say yes.
I'll say yes. I'm going to say most do. And then how many of you have a laptop that you work with? This is important. I'm going to just go down the list. And I'm going to say your name and you. Okay. Aldino, yes. Mackenzie, yes. No? Laptop? Yes. Stanley Louis, no laptop. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, that's good. Let's go. Farah, laptop?
Yes.
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 Ridley, yes. Angelote, is it Angelote? I think that's Angelote. Is that, am I saying your name right?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have access to a
Yeah.
laptop? Yes. And Roseanne?
Yes, I get it.
Okay.
Yes.
And Rose? Rose, is it Rose? I don't see you. And then we have Rishad's son, Super Elias. Hello? I'm struggling to get you guys connected. And Donal, I heard from you before. Do you have access to a laptop? Hello, Donal? I'm not here. Uh-oh, I think I lost him. Okay, we're gonna assume that about 2/3 of you have access, or 3/4 have access to a laptop. The reason I'm asking these questions is because everybody has different ability to teach English. And if you have a laptop, there's a lot of things you can put on the laptop. If you're working off your phone, then you really need to do a lot of it on paper and pen, or else borrow a laptop to do your assignments. That's why it's really important to gear the class to those who have internet, who have laptops, and who do not. So what is English? Why are we teaching it? I think it starts with language. And if I say, what is language? And thinking English is one of the languages, it's the principal method of human communication. And it consists of words and used in a structured and conventional way and conveyed by speech, writing, and gesture. And communication. So this is the thing where you may run into a struggle if your basic way of teaching is writing on a board. But this is a class that's all about communication. So what is communication? It's not just speaking, it's not just writing, but it is imparting or exchanging of information and news. And that word, what's important in that to me is exchanging. So it can't all be a teacher to the student or just what the student is saying. It's exchanging. That's what we're teaching here. That's what English is being learned for. So what are we when we're teaching English? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? I read this article, it's called Lead with Language, and they gave us 3 reasons, or they gave actually 10. So if you want to go to it, I'll send you the PowerPoint and you can click on to see all 10 reasons. But these 3 really seemed important. First of all, to connect. All of you speak at least 2 languages, French and Creole fluently. And now a lot of you speak English fluently. Some even speak Spanish. And when you're learning a language, you know that you really want to talk to somebody in that language, but it's really difficult. It's really difficult to connect. You are trying to use words, you can't really understand them. And that's one of the reasons we teach English, to make connections with people who are English speakers. To advance your career. I think you all know this from being in Haiti, that those people who speak English, along with French, well, have a real job advantage. And not just as teachers, but in their careers, different careers, doctors. There's many professionals. I teach to a couple people who are social working for NGOs, and their English is really important. And then to me, I think the third one is one of the most important, and it's going to the source. And that means being able to read and listen to so many different things. It really, really makes us empowered to learn more, not just about learning English, but also about different subjects. You know, that's why I have a couple doctors who are taking English, because they want to learn more about their medical practice, but it's all in English. And so that's why they're studying. So does anybody have any questions or thoughts about this? You know, because it's, I think when you're saying one of the struggles is the way education is in Haiti, I think you're already a little bit at odds because you're doing something that's supposed to be very interactive. You're teaching something that's not just sending in. Remember this exchanging? It's supposed to go back and forth with your students. Any questions or thoughts? All right, we're going to keep going. Now this might be something Aldino can share with us. What are the 4 basic skills of language learning? Basic skills. Anybody? All right, we'll start calling you again. I'm going to call him Widley. Widley,
Yes, I'm here.
what do you think? What would
Pronunciation.
you guess are the 4 basic
Read.
skills?
Well,
Reading?
I think they are like speaking, writing. I mean, speaking, listening, writing, and reading.
Oh man,
See?
you're good.
Well, so I
That
think
is
these.
exactly right.
Okay. Good.
Good job.
Thank you.
Mackenzie, I'm going to call on you too because you are studying to get your TEFL certification right now. Is this what you're learning too?
Yes.
The same, reading, writing, speaking, and listening?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Feel free, because you're studying this right now too, to weigh in if there's anything you want to add to what you see here, okay? All right, so the 4 basic skills, we've got that. Now this is where I'm really going to ask you to share. I would love somebody to weigh in on these different things. So now you know reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So I'd like different people to give me examples in their classroom. How do they teach listening comprehension? You know, I'll give you a minute to think about it because it's like, unless you can right off the bat tell me, but you've got a bunch of kids you're teaching or a bunch of adults wanting to learn English, and now you need to work on that with them on listening so that they can understand what's being said to them. I would love to hear an example of what you do in your classroom. I'm going to try again with Rose. Is that how you pronounce your name, or Rose? We say Rose in English for your name. I'm asking to unmute. Hello? Not getting you there. Okay, let's try Yozel. Yozel? Not getting anybody. All right. Then I'm going to go to Mackenzie. What have you learned about listening comprehension?
I mean, how do I teach it or what do I learn?
Either one. You are teaching right now English?
Yeah. Yes.
I would love an example from your classroom.
Okay. I mean, how do I teach listening skill? That's fine.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes on my laptop, I have a lot of topics. Some of them are audio or video. And sometimes I use the projector and I just turn it off sometimes. And I let my student listen to what they listen to from the topic. And I tell them to write down what they have listened from the topic, right? Sometimes I use the topic that can work for their level. Uh, I don't use topic that they cannot really understand, but in their level, if they are beginners, I use topic for beginners. And if they are low intermediate, I use topic for low intermediate. And when they are like intermediate, I use topic for intermediate for them.
Well, let me
And
ask you a quick
sometimes,
question. I'm going to interrupt for a sec. So just to go clarify again, you're doing this off of your computer or their individual tablets?
Sometimes they use a headset.
A headset, okay.
Okay. And I have two little speakers in my class too. I let them
One-
listen together in the class, right? And I play and I play the topic, the audio for them to listening, and they write down. They listen together and two little speakers I use in my class for them, right?
That's great.
Yeah, and sometimes I give a sheet. Sometimes I give a sheet and I write some words in the sheet. And I want them to complete the missing words from what they listen from the topic in the class too.
So,
And I
so this
want
would
them
be
to,
for writing skills.
yeah, yeah,
Got it.
yeah, yeah. That's how I teach listening. But I use many other strategies to let
Yeah.
them understand and to make sure that they listen to everything from the topic, right?
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
I would love to hear from another teacher who doesn't have internet access in their classroom. Is there somebody who wants to speak up who doesn't have? We have somebody new. I think it's Verlaine Polius. Is that right, Verlaine? Or Verlaina? Or Hello?
Berlin.
I don't know if I have your name correct.
Uh,
No? I'd love to hear from some of the other people who have not spoken yet, to hear a little bit about what your situations in the classroom are. Does anybody want to share?
I just realized, Teresa, a couple of people are not actual English teachers, but they were just curious what you would be talking about.
Oh, okay. That's
They
fine.
joined anyway. I think Verlaine is one of them.
Okay, they can definitely stay even if you're not an English teacher. So we're going to keep thinking about and when we get into our class in July, we will definitely go more into this. How will we work on reading comprehension, speaking skills when you don't have an internet access? Because that's really important for people who are way out. So what are we going to do if you do decide you want to take this class, the intensive English course in July? What will you learn in this class, and what can you take away? And this is really pertinent to people who might not be just English teachers, okay? Because this is something for you too. And some of you may just be wanting to improve your careers. That's important, just to learn a little better English. And this is going to be an intensive 3-week class. So the 4 elements of a language, we already talked about that a bit. If you are an English teacher, we will create a plan for the year, and I'll talk about that. If you are not an English teacher, what my students are doing right now is doing a project that is pertinent to their work, something related to their careers. So they right now are working on, like I said, we had some doctors in there. They are putting together a project that they will have a PowerPoint related to their career that they will be able to give in English. And so that's one of the things that you could bring, say you decide to take this and you're not an English teacher. And then for the teachers, we are going to really focus on interactive learning. As I put, the only real way to learn a language is to use it. And for those of you who want to get certified, because this is another career opportunity in English, TEFL, which stands for Teaching English as a Foreign Language certification. This is something we're going to work towards. It's not the TEFL course. I wouldn't be able to give you a certification after this, but I would help you get ready to take that class. And so that's one of the things you'll get out of it. For you teachers, one of the things that we really talk a lot about in TEFL is being prepared to teach your class for the whole year. And once again, it really depends what you have at your school. Some of you may be given a curriculum, or you may have an English book that you follow. Some of you have to make it up as you go. And I think what's really important is to know what's expected of your students after they get done. So here's the TEFL. I told you a little bit about this. This is the course that I took, but it's just one of many. And it also, I wanted to show you the possibility of, as an English speaker, different job. This is called Glassdoor, and it's just a website I found that offered jobs in Haiti. And most of them require strong English speakers. So I think it's really important just to be aware of why you might want to take a TEFL course and why you might really want to work on your English. So I put that in there to tell you a little bit why you might want to improve yourself strong enough to get into a TEFL course. This is a sample of one of the lessons that I had to do for my course. And it just talks about the importance of why to have a lesson plan. How many of you have to do, or teachers have to put together a lesson plan now? Or have something already set up? I know, Lackenzie, you are a teacher now. Do you have to make your own lesson plans and your own syllabus?
Yes, I have to do it.
Yeah, I have to do it too. Does anybody have something, a book that they're handed, and this is what you work with?
No, no. But I share a program with them.
Okay, well that's
Yeah,
good.
like a. Mhm.
That's helpful. So the two things that I wanted to show you for English teachers is, and I think Lackenzie will know this already too, is how do you decide what your student needs to know? Say you're working with grade school kids or high school kids, there's some basic levels that are considered internationally the levels of learning English. Beginner, which is A1, elementary, which is A2, independent, which is B1 and B2, and proficient, C1, C2. I think most of you guys would be considered proficient. And so then down here in this section, it tells you what can you expect. And this is really helpful to me when I'm picking a level I'm going to be teaching a class. Okay, what should my students know when they finish? I'm teaching upper intermediate right now. They can understand the main ideas of complex texts on both concrete and abstract topics, including technical discussions in his or her field of specialization. So knowing these things helps me so much to know, okay, this is what I have to work on with them. If you're teaching very beginners, what do I need to make sure they understand when they come away from my class? So these are the kind of things we talk about to make sure that you're covering what you need. Then that is from the Common English Framework of Reference. And that's what the, this is kind of an international global, I guess I would call it a framework for what's important and what are the levels of English. And then this one is just an example of what they tell you for the same thing, beginners, high beginners, for all the grammar. Okay, I'm teaching, let's say I'm teaching A2. My students should be able to do all of these things when they leave. So now I can form my class knowing what my students need. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, so
Yes, I'm sorry. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, how could you please drop this link here in the chat for me, please? This link of the page where you've been before, please.
Oh, yes. What I'll do is I will drop the whole thing into our WhatsApp group.
All right, no problem. Thank you so
And
much.
then anything that's click and a link, you will be able to get to.
All right, no problem. I just love the page that you've been before.
Yeah.
All right, thank
And
you.
you'll be able to find it. If you have any problems,
I don't.
go ahead.
I don't think everyone. I don't think everyone on this call is in the WhatsApp group, and I just posted the link to join the WhatsApp group because that's where we
If
communicate.
you are not in this
So make
WhatsApp
sure you join
group,
the WhatsApp group then.
yeah, I do have connection with somebody in the group. Be sure you make sure you get connected so you can get the link to the PowerPoint today. Okay. Finally, takeaways for today. This is what I've stressed with you guys a couple of times. What's important about teaching English is interactive learning. Basically, your students have to use it or lose it. Do you have a question? Was that Samuel? Samuel?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
I have
Use it or lose it. Basically, you really need to practice English. And this is really something you're going to have to think about, because if you're in a classroom where you have 30 kids sitting in front of you and you have a chalkboard and that's it, how do you turn that into an interactive environment? And I think you're going to have to start slowly. There is opportunity for role play. There's some, I put this link in here because there's some wonderful opportunities of thinking about having your students just do a role play. And I'm going to give you an example after this slide, and then some really easy dialogues. And if you do these with your students every day from day one, they get used to having to use a little English. And more important than that, they come away feeling like English speakers because they use it. It's part of their daily routine to speak English, even if it's really basic. The other one, boom, is the resources that you can find with the internet. I have a whole, I'm going to show you this real quick. I have a whole, from my class, a whole resource. I got to put this, here we go. A resource worksheet from teaching and learning English of resources. And sometimes I just explore, and there's so many things that would help us all with continued learning in our English. And there's one, I will put this in the chat too. It's called English 101 with Alicia. She's wonderfully fun to watch, and she puts in different topics all the time. So even if you just follow her and look every day to what she's doing, but that to me is a huge takeaway for learning English and for continued education, is using the internet as a resource and all that's available to you there. Say again, question? Okay, let's move on now. This is just one little sample that I was thinking about. You have a really basic English learner. And every day from day one, you teach them, how are you? And they learn, I am fine. How are you? And that happens every day in the beginning. But then you get to a point you're teaching them about emotions: happy, sad, angry. Okay, hungry is not really an emotion, but it's something that you will be teaching them. You teach them that. So then when they come in that week, you say, how are you? And they're not allowed to say, I am fine. How are you? They have to say, I am happy. I am sad. I am angry. I am hungry. And then you begin the conversation. And you teach them these different emotions and what they mean, and then they use it. Then you ask two of the students to come up and start this conversation. And one will be the asker, How are you? The other one is the responder. I am hungry. Oh, why are you hungry? I am hungry because I need to eat lunch. And you see, like a little game, how far they can take the conversation. And each week they should be able to add a little bit more to their conversation. So, but it's very important from day one you begin and you continue to add more to their ability to talk, and you use it with them. And you ask them to use it with each other. We had a little bit of experience of this when I was teaching in Haiti, asking directions. And this was with a 7th grade class. And just basic, where is St. Paul's School? St. Paul's School is on Route 2. Just little things that you have them do using both what they know and also things that are pertinent to them, like where their school is. So that to me is an important most important aspect, I would say, of teaching English is interactive, using it. Once again, because coming away after the first year, if they can walk up to somebody and say, how are you? My name is, I live in, they will feel like English speakers. It's a start. So that's pretty much all I have today. Now I'm asking for your questions. We didn't get a lot of introductions because we didn't get a lot of questions. So how about right now, I would love to have you each tell me where you're at and what your use of English is. Some of you are not teachers, so how are you interested in using English? And I'm going to start with Yosel. Can you unmute and talk?
Yes.
Just before you go yourself, at this
Yes.
point, Teresa, you could stop sharing, and if people could go on video.
Yeah,
so we could,
that would be great.
Go ahead, Teresa.
Yes. Can everybody see me here?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Yes. I learned a lot today. So it's been very interesting to me. And then I was able to discover out some new ideas. And then it's been so good for me. And I have been using several of those, but when you brush up every day, when you're trying to know new things, so it's pretty important. According to the syllabus, and I do my own syllabus, that depends about the program that I'm working on. And I do have my own syllabus, even though I'm teaching a new class, I always prepare the lesson. I always have my lesson plans. And then before I even introduce the courses and then the engagement and everything, and the productive. So I do have everything set up on my lesson plan and the timing too, everything well set up. Because when you are a teacher, you need to be able to have a great timing for your students, like for every classes. That can happen, you overtake everything. So you need to go step by step in everything. So before you even start the classes, it doesn't matter if you're an experienced teacher, but it's all matter if you have a great lesson plan. And because of that, you're going to have a great classroom and you're going to deliver a good service to all of the students, even though you're teaching online or you're teaching on site. So it's pretty important to have your lesson plan and have everything well set up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate your thoughts, and you're right on. So
all right,
great
thank
job. Who wants to go next?
So basically, people need to tell us where they teach and what did they learn today, basically.
All right, I'm going to start again. Let's go, Louise Stanley or Stanley?
Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Me, I'm not a teacher, but I just working to be a teacher. I'm looking some new thing to know how about I can teach students, but it's
That's great.
hard.
And where are you at? Where are you at, Stanley? Where are you at? In what city?
What did you say?
What city are you in?
I'm in Haiti.
Yeah, in Haiti. In what city?
Mirabale.
Mirabelais. Great. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank
Thank
you too.
you for coming today. And Aldino, are you still awake?
Of course.
Want to
Thank
tell
you.
us a little bit about your experience? You said a little bit before, but tell everybody where you are.
Okay, I'm in France, near Paris. Um,
Wonderful. And you're interested in getting back into teaching, correct?
yes, this is what my heart is telling me. It keeps
Oh,
telling me on and on. In Haiti, if possible.
wonderful. Okay, well, keep it up, and you've got access to internet, so you can definitely keep working on it.
Of course.
Wonderful.
Hmm.
Next, Rose, is it Rose or Rose or who is right here? Hello, Rose? Rose?
Yeah.
Hello, welcome. Can you
I want to say something, please.
go ahead?
All right, good. Thank you. Uh, yes, I know I've been involving in teaching English, but today I learned a lot of things from you, Teresa, and I want to apply them in my English teaching every day. But I see something, and I've been doing them in my class when I'm teaching English. And today, I feel like I have much more confident in what I've been doing, right? Because I see Teresa, you do them too, and it shows something that is very interesting for us, right? And I think when you send the record, and I will take more time to listen and to see them, not to listen, but to see all of the things that you have shared to us tonight. And I think I'm waiting for the session. That's why I can't wait for it.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
How about Farah? Are you there?
Who else?
Farah? Hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Do you want to tell us a little bit about where you're teaching and where, tell us a little bit about your experience if you're teaching English?
I don't teach English, but I just want to learn.
Wonderful. That's
Yes.
okay.
Thank you.
And where are you at?
I'm an 80.
What city?
Port-au-Prince.
Port-au-Prince.
Yes.
And Farah, what is your experience right now using, or why would you like to learn more English?
Because I would like to improve my English. I would like to speak like American English. I would like to understand everything
Okay.
because I work. My work is English, so I have to speak a lot of English. So I would like to learn more.
Perfect. I understand. I think that would be, I think anybody for your career learning another language, and English seems to be a very much one of the global languages.
Yes.
So working on it would be really great for you.
Yeah, thank you. I hope so.
And I will send in are you on the chat, the WhatsApp, I mean?
Yes.
Okay, I will share in that WhatsApp group that woman that I said her, it's called English 101, and her name is Alicia.
Okay.
And I highly recommend following her every day because you'll listen, she speaks American English, and also she gives different subjects. So you learn about making introductions, about grammar, so many different things.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Donald, I think you're there still. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
Do
You want to introduce yourself again and
you hear
tell
me?
a little bit about
Okay.
yourself?
Okay. Honestly, I'm not a English teacher. I'm an agronomist, but I teach at a vocational agricultural school, and I expect to do a master degree in the US in agricultural education and extension. That I think your course is important for me. That can help me to improve my English skill. Also, learning about teaching
Yeah, definitely. I think with that you will learn something
when you
about
talk about a syllable.
yes, which would be important even for your agriculture education. I'm sorry, yeah, your agriculture education, having a syllabus for your classes would be equally as useful. So thank you. Where are you at, Donnell, right now? Donnell, hello? I think we lost you. Anybody else that I did not hear from yet? I want to make sure everybody gets a chance.
Sherry Ben?
Ben,
Are you there, Sherry Ben?
I will try to get them to unmute. Hello. So we got two that I'm not hearing anything from. So hopefully they can hear us. Thank you all. I would love to hear if there's any more questions.
I will stop here.
Jackie, there's anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to, first of all, thank you for doing this, Teresa. I know you put a lot of efforts into getting the slides up, and there's a lot of information that you shared with people tonight. I'd like to thank every single person that joined us tonight. I think this is the beginning of something that can be really big. My idea for putting this together is to provide continuing education to English teachers in Haiti. If you, Teresa, went back to school to teach English, so let alone someone who grew up in Haiti and probably need to work a little bit more on the pronunciation and all that. But that aside, we as professionals need to be constantly learning. And I want people to be aware of that, to be thinking about that. And this is exactly what ISC want to offer to people, an opportunity for them to grow professionally. Learning English or mastering English in Haiti now, it's not just another language, it's actually a profession. So if you do it well, you can make money doing it. So I'd like to encourage people to join the WhatsApp group. I think I put the link in the chat. And then, later on, we'll be able to share links from you, Teresa, and if I come across any resource, that's where I will put them in the link. So join the chat. And as far as when the session would actually be happening, could you remind people, Teresa?
We are looking the
July,
first 3 weeks of July, and it would be 3 days a week. The time we're looking at is 5 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that's a little bit open still. If you're really interested and that time doesn't work for you, let us know. But that's what it's starting then. I think it would start July 5th and go until the third week in July.
Yeah. And we'll be sharing a link for people who are now registered. Go ahead, Rob.
Oh, good. All right.
Question?
I hope not a question, but this is something else I just want to add. And I hope you share the schedule on the WhatsApp group too, Teresa.
Okay.
It will be better for us, because to organize better our time. To be ready. Yeah, thank you.
I'll put both of that and the PowerPoint in the WhatsApp group tonight.
All right, super cool.
Hopefully
Super
the
cool.
recording, I don't know exactly if we'll put it there because it might be too big, but we'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And there'll certainly be any other question?
Sure. May I say something?
Absolutely.
Oh, go
Yes,
ahead.
I would like to definitely thank you, madam. I don't know your name. Can you tell us your name,
I'm sorry.
please?
I didn't do a very good introduction, did I? My name is Teresa. Teresa Henri.
Teresa. Thank,
And
thank, thank you so much, Teresa. It's been very clear, and those are definitely things that I would say methods and materials that would be very helpful for myself, not just for myself, but for myself. I can talk for myself. I mentioned my phone number. I just wanted to be sure that I have the right information to be added to the WhatsApp group. Just saying that Aladino is, I would say, it's kind of my pseudo. My real name, first name Musso Aladin. I give my phone number just to be
Okay.
sure that I will be added to
Yeah,
the WhatsApp group.
thank
I
you.
just saw that. I think it'll probably be easier if you click on the link, and I just posted the link to the WhatsApp group once again. So just click on the link, and you should be taken to the group itself.
You mean I can click while teaching the classes or afterwards?
Or you can click now. I mean, if you
Yeah,
go to
click
the chat
now.
room, you click on the
It's
link.
on the chat. And that way you can get attached to the WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you'll be in.
Okay.
I copied down your information, so we'll make sure you get in. But try that. That would be the easiest.
Okay. Good.
And
Thank you.
feel free to share this with other colleagues you think
Okay.
might be interested.
Something
great.
that Jackie said that I wanted to reiterate, and that is, I had a whole career. I also have a degree in agriculture, horticulture, and I had a whole career. But like Jackie said, because of COVID, I could not do the things I was doing before. So I got my certification for teaching English. So continuing education will definitely help not only find new career opportunities, but where you're at right now, improve them. So if you feel like this course would be right for you, but ILC has a lot of different levels, also computer skills, that would really be helpful in continuing education. I'm a lot older than all of you guys, and you're never too old to stop learning. So don't get complacent in your career. Keep working on your education.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to add that at this point we haven't decided on what the fee will be to participate, but there will certainly be a little something to contribute. So we'll get to that, and we'll post everything in the WhatsApp group, which is why it's so important for all of you to be in the group, because that's where all the communications are gonna happen. Any final comments, questions, concerns?
Thank you all for giving your Sunday evening. Appreciate it. Take good care.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Teresa.
Thank you
Thank you,
too.
everyone.
So much.
Take care.
All right, thank you.